Hey, what's up? You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show podcast.
Thanks for checking it out, and make sure you subscribed.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
The Democrats still preaching impeachment. My name is Nigel. Abdul Hakim Shabazz is filling in for Jason Hammer over there. Abdul, how are you?
Doing well.
Leading the charge with impeachment. This is a shocker here, Abdul. This is going to stun you, but leading the charge for impeaching the president, Representative Al Green, who recent efforts to force a vote on impeaching President Donald Trump failed miserably.
The guy, did he sing Let's Stay Together?
That's a different Al Green.
Oh, sorry, never mind. My bad.
I'm talking about the congressman out of Texas. So he went on with Al Sharpton on MSNBC. Yeah, this is, what it sounded like.
Have you seen more and more of your colleagues starting to move toward impeachment than when you were practically alone out there earlier trying to get these articles of impeachment introduced?
Reverend, I can say to you without reservation, hesitation, or equivocation, the answer is yes. We started out with 58. We now are at 95. This president will be impeached. I am convinced of it. I believe my colleagues are moving in this direction, and I trust that it will happen sooner rather than later because Mr. Cummings is right. There are people fearful in this country. There's a fear factor that I've not experienced to the extent that I'm seeing it now. People are concerned about their safety as a result of the way the president is treating a member of Congress.
Okay, a couple of things there, Abdul. First of all, what are you talking about? Do you see anybody walking around scared here over the weekend?
No, not really.
Well, what in the world is he talking about there?
First of all, he's talking to Al Sharpton. So that should, first of all, big giant, red flags.
You mentioned the other Congressman Elijah Cummings, who had recently went on TV and said Trump's a racist. But that in there is like people are walking around scared. You were in the heart of this city all weekend long during Black Expo. You were bouncing out of Nikki Blades.
Yeah, people were concerned about the heat than they were about Donald Trump. And what I'm really getting worried about is we're starting to throw this R word around, pretty frequently and pretty regularly, that everybody's default is now to call everybody a racist just because you disagree or you may not have a difference of opinion. Like, no, I've seen real racism up close and personal. I experienced it. This is not it. I'm sorry. This is just people being stupid and just run up with the mouth, and maybe they just need to shut up and take a deep freaking breath.
Yes. The other part of this conversation, the crux of this little chit-chat between Al Green and Al Sharpton was the I word. You mentioned the R word. I'll mention the I word. Impeachment. Al Green was trying to get Donald Trump impeached even before he became president.
And with 435 members of the House, you got 95, and 95 people did not vote for impeachment. 95 people voted to look at impeachment.
Right.
There's a difference between, looking at something versus actually doing something. Because I can assure you that have you just taken that probably was a vote to impeach the president based on this stuff that's going on now, he'd have probably had that original 50-something votes he was talking about, because those people want Donald Trump gone regardless, period.
And even if somehow it made its way through the House and they did all the different committees and voting, and it still would be dead on arrival in the Senate.
And that's what I have a relative who is hell-bent on seeing Donald Trump impeached, and every time we talk and chat, I remind her, first of all, Donald Trump hasn't done anything that rises to high crimes and misdemeanors, number one.
I was going to say, impeachment for what? Tweeting out mean things?
Yes, and that was number two.
That's what this latest round is. It's about his Twitter account.
Right, and number two, if you were to impeach him in the House, let's say they go through all the hassle and do it, and it dies in the Senate, now what? We just wasted everybody's time and energy and effort, got everybody all worked up. There's this thing next November called an election. Go get some people, go vote, and that's how you impeach a president and you win a friggin' election.
Meanwhile, about a month ago, old Spartacus, Cory Booker, as I like to call him, Farticus, said he would have no problem taking a meeting with one Mr. Louis Farrakhan. That was about a month ago, right? So Cory Booker finally found enough cojones to actually come right out and say, hell no, I wouldn't sit down for a lunch meeting with Louis Farrakhan. And he went on CNN. Dana Bash was asking him about what he said a month ago versus what he is saying now about the world-famous anti-Semite.
I want to ask about something that you were recently asked, and that is about whether or not you would meet with Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan. He's unabashedly anti-Semitic. He said, quote, you said, quote, I don't feel like I need to do that, but I'm not one of those people who says that I wouldn't sit down with anybody to hear what they have to say. Is that still where you are?
Well, first of all, that is completely taking out of context that larger conversation.
Okay, give me the context.
I will not sit down with Louis Farrakhan, period. And I reject anybody who preaches that kind of bigotry and hate towards other Americans.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up.
Quite a change of tone there from last month. I wonder what finally pushed him over the edge as far as coming out and saying, "Oh, no, I would never have." Was it the anti-Semitic, calling Jews termites, calling them satanic?
There's one day, me, you, and Hammer will have to go have beer or alcohol and cocktails, and I will tell you the very long, complicated history of Louis Farrakhan's relationship with the African American community. But you'll need a whole lot of booze for me to explain it.
Well,
it is long, it is complicated, and it just requires a whole lot of alcohol to explain.
Well, anything can be made better with alcohol. If you told me, hey, let's go sit in a room somewhere and talk about Louis Farrakhan for 3 hours, I'd be like, it's got to be at a bar if that's happening.
At the end of the day, you'll still reach the same conclusion, but you'll understand everything so much better.
Awesome. You've made it through another Hammer and Nigel show.
Be sure to catch us every weekday 4 to 7 on 93 WIBC or subscribe and get it right to your phone.